Hi, babies. What are you doing?
I love you.
Honey, I love you too. Did you have a good day today?
Yeah, we didn't have school for like 2 days.
What?
Yeah.
You better get some good sleep tonight, okay?
Call us after school.
Well, honey, Daddy only has service at the very top of the mountain. So,
Really?
yeah, so I may not have service again for a couple days.
Service for like a long time.
I know, honey.
Yeah.
Daddy misses you, okay?
I miss you too.
I grew up hunting in central Kentucky, my backyard serving as an untapped wilderness for a young boy. Throughout my childhood years, my passion grew and I became more obsessed with the outdoors. As a teenager, I started bow hunting, and the fire inside my soul was lit. Shortly after high school, I enlisted in the Air Force, leaving my Kentucky home and ultimately landing in Montana. My time living in Montana would change the course of my life. Engulfed in a world of adventure, my passion for bow hunting thrived. I quickly realized that the dreams of wild places and uncommon prey were more accessible than that young boy could have imagined. After a few years of cutting my teeth, I found myself sitting in a local old-timer shop. Craig Comfort was a bowyer, a veteran, and a mentor. He spent his days building longbows and recurves by hand in his shop. I immediately fell in love with the primal and simple beauty of a traditional bow. Many afternoons that summer were spent listening to the stories of Craig's life. He taught me the importance of simplicity in bow hunting, the roots of why we loved the sport in the first place. I quickly sold my compound bow and dove headfirst into the traditional bow hunting world. Now 5 years have passed since leaving Montana and returning home to Kentucky. The pace of life has changed with a growing young family and a marriage to my soulmate. Yet the desire for adventure with bow in hand burns as hot as ever, and so I go westward each year in search of the next adventure. I think that the most important part of my shot process is my grip and my release. If you can't, it took a long time, many years of shooting to get a repeatable and consistent grip and release. Without those two foundational points of a shot, there's no repeatability. And without repeatability, there's no confidence. And without no confidence, there's no execution. And when it matters the most.
You know, of course I worry about him, especially when it's been a few days since I've heard from him, because that happens sometimes. But I try to trust that he knows what he's doing, that he studies where he goes before he goes for a long time, and that when he lived in Montana, he learned a lot, and that has definitely helped ease my mind. But when we got married, I vowed to push him to adventure. So I always try to do that, and I keep that in the back of my head a lot when he's gone.
When preparing for my, backcountry hunts of the year, I always like to go through all of my different kits and kind of just check in and go through all my each individual gear. This bag is my everyday kit. So it's gonna have my stove, which I run an MSR pocket rocket. It's just a super lightweight butane canister stove. It has its downfalls in some regards when it comes to like bomb-proofness of some other stoves, but for light, fast, little bit more everyday situations that I backpack in personally, you can't beat it. It's tried and true. I can't fly with a butane canister, so I'll be buying that once I get to Montana. So besides that butane canister, my everyday bag is my cook system. So multiple ways of fire. I always carry a couple Bic lighters. Sometimes I'll carry some waterproof matches if I'm going somewhere for an extended period of time, maybe a super wet environment. But generally I like to just carry a Bic lighter or two. Gears dialed, packs dialed, putting all my clothes away. I can prep over and over and over, but at the end of the day, gear's packed. We leave for Montana tomorrow. Gonna go get some rest, try to recover a little bit and hit the road. It's always difficult leaving behind my family, but every adventure requires some level of sacrifice. Every time I leave, a part of my heart stays. I'm incredibly blessed for a wife who pushes me forward, and I hope I carve a path for my children to follow their dreams, to take chances, and live a life with purpose. Throughout the flight, I let my mind wander of past memories, exploring Montana's vast landscape and the many lessons it has taught me. After landing in Bozeman, I grabbed my gear and met my old friend Randy, whom I'd spent years with during our time in the military. We loaded up the truck and headed northeast, reminiscing on old times had. As we neared the river, my anticipation grew. We unloaded the canoe from the truck and loaded it with several days' worth of supplies. I had said my goodbyes and pushed off into the water. The hunt has begun. From here, we're gonna get our canoe, all of our stuff that we're leaving here with the canoe, up that bank and over to these trees. We're gonna stash it in this shade over here. We have our canoe, our cooler, a few days of extra food in case we decide to stay longer, and some little miscellaneous gear that we're gonna leave here before we make our first trek back into this basin here. If we hunt there for 4 or 5 days and don't like what we want, we're not finding what we want, we'll come right back down here, cross the river, and actually go up to that peak. You can see this peak in the background, hunt that drainage. So between plan A and plan B, hopefully we can get into some deer. Let's go fill up dirty water down by the river, just in case if we do get up top and we can't find it, we have a little bit of a security blanket for a day or so. And that'll allow us to cook our freezer-dried meals at night and drink and have enough drinking water for probably 2 days. This will be a moot point if we do find water, but you just never know how dry it's going to be once you leave the main river. Sawyer squeeze. It's just a basic water filter that takes out 99 point something percent of all bacteria and viruses. I've used it for years. A lot of times we'll take it, and from here I'll take it and I'll filter it into my other Nalgene bottles. But this is what we call a dirty bag, and you can filter it. You can drink from it. Squeeze it. First climb down. A lot more to go. But 118, we got all the time in the world. At some point, we're gonna need to be over that hill on top of the next one before dark so we can glass the evening hours. See if we can't pick up a deer to chase. That's the goal. That's what we're looking for. This buck this year is going to be nice. He's probably 2 or 3 here, and already had a lot of junk on his bases. Look at that. Solid brow for a mule. Little 3-point. If we can run into him now, a year or 2 older, he'll be a good buck. It's morning too. We just hiked about 500 to 600 feet up this knob to get to the back side of what we were looking at yesterday. And yesterday we were looking at everything to the west. This morning we got up and looking at everything to the east until the sun comes out. Once the sun breaks the horizon, we're gonna turn around and look back west again. But for now, up this canyon on the top of the canyon is where we glassed up the ram from last night. And I wanted to see if there was A, more rams, or B, what was living in this country. Has a lot of timber. Compared to the country to our west. So I wanted to give it a good hour or so of glassing before we look back the other way. That pretty much wraps up the second morning of glassing. Still no deer, so we're gonna go ahead and make a move. We're gonna go up the 1.5 miles around to the top side of the mountain behind us and glass all the finger ridges to the south and to the east. All of these finger ridges here that we've glassed now, an evening, and then last night and a morning this morning. And with that much country and not seeing any deer, it's a little bleak. So we're gonna clear country and bounce to a new spot. All year we prep physically, running 25 to 30 miles a week. Trail running, road running, eating super clean. All for this. This is what it is all for. I do this all year long for these 2 weeks a year. As we were creeping down this bench, just constantly glassing off the edge, I picked up a few rams down there, and there ended up being fun. That's a perfect example of how we want to curl these corners and just glass before they pick up on us. We were able to watch them and film them for a while before they finally saw us. It's 6 o'clock. We have about an hour and a half or so before dark. It's Sunday. We have still yet to pick up a deer on the glass. Well, it's morning of midday of Monday, and we just broke camp. We're gonna go ahead and head all the way back to the river. I'm always fighting these feelings of of frustration or disappointment, but at the end of the day, we came in here, we had an awesome time. It's just the deer densities weren't what they were a few years ago. We spent about 3 days glassing in here and just can't pick up any deer. We've seen a lot of sheep. We had awesome encounters with some really nice rams. We hiked to the top. We hiked to the bottom. Hiked over peaks, and we've glassed a good bit of all this country. And if I'm picking up one deer while we're hiking in and no deer while I'm on the glass, the deer densities, whether they're displaced from the drought or I don't know. I don't really know what happened, but public land hunting's hard. This is the toughest game. This is why I love it. It's why I'm addicted to it. The challenges, the setbacks, but we are gonna go out. We're gonna head back to the river, get to the canoe, head down the river, and go look for greener pastures. We're gonna go look for higher deer densities. This archery hunting mule deer, especially with a traditional bow, the odds of success are in the single digits, and I have to have lots of opportunities. I need to have at least a couple stalks every day or so to have that chance of getting within range, getting within the red zone, and making it count. So with 3 days and not picking up a deer on the glass, it just isn't the way. This area is not going to be the way I can make this happen. So we got the rest of the week. Today's Monday. We might be able to glass tonight, and then we'll have all day Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through Friday evening. So I'm pretty optimistic that we're going to be able to get on some deer and have a great hunt. It's not going to be as backcountry as I'd hoped and dreamed of, but I'm a bow hunter, and without the animals, you're not a bow hunter. Roughly 10.5 miles down this river, 3 or so left to go, and it's the eerie, smoky quietness that makes you reflect on life and how how we live a 10-second life, ruled by 10-second clips, 10-second media. And then you come here, and then for days you're sitting with nothing to occupy your mind, nothing to blur the reality of the world, which is you need water, you need food, and some type of shelter. And this is it. Everything from running water to electricity at home is all gone here, and it's the wildness that brings us back, that gives us a reality check when we're at home. Personally, I know that I struggle mentally with the day-to-day grinds of life, you know. And I say that sparingly because I have 3 beautiful children and a wife, but it's just the hustle that makes you, that can bog down your mental state. And then you come out here and you start seeing the harsh reality of the world, the reality where Mother Nature doesn't care about you. Survival is all based on your own merit. There's no egos. It's all stripped away. It's a good reality check. I know that I need it. Every year I crave it. Every year I come here or come to a wild place across this great nation and seek adventure in the rawest form that I've found. And it always sets my mind straight for when I go home. I go home a better husband, a better father, a better employee. I go home a better human. Popped this hill and had a pretty good goat at 60 yards. He's probably a mid 60-inch goat. Wrong species. Glassed up some deer. We popped over this ridge and there was a doe and 2 fawns directly below us, like 80 yards. And we filmed them for a while. This vantage, you can see it. I can just see so much country. So possibly tonight I'll be on that peak, looking down off the front, up the middle, and off to the right, and see if I can pick up a buck or 2. Oh, it's good though. We needed some momentum. We needed to pick me up. It's been a grind. It's been a grind of a hunt and with very little action, very little deer sighting. So seeing a handful of deer really picks up my spirits. Now we just gotta find some horns. It's the last morning, and there's just a bunch of deer kind of on every peak. They're slowly feeding back to bed. So we're just gonna keep glassing, keep trying to check every nook and cranny and just pick up a fresh buck. But it's the last day, so we need some last day magic to happen. I spent my final evening in Montana on a familiar ridge with an old friend. And as the evening progressed, the specific Fred Bear quote drifted in and out of my mind. If you consider an unsuccessful hunt a waste of time, then the true meaning of the chase eludes you altogether. I am grateful for this life built on passion, and as I leave this immense country, my soul is already planning a return. Well, it's late October. We're back in my roots, in the whitetail woods. We're tucked in super tight to what I think is this buck's bed. It's a hero or zero spot, you know. The wind is super picky, and there's usually a lot of deer, so it's easy to get busted if it's not perfect. I haven't came in here all year hoping to kill this one buck. He came back through last night, and then he came back to bed this morning. I would imagine he's probably within 100 yards right now of us, just bedded down. Ready? Yeah. That's bad angle. I shot over him. Fuck, I shot over him. He saw me move my foot, and then that's what keyed him up. That hurts. missed him by an inch, but it just was right over him. I hope I never lose that feeling. Bow hunting can go from nothing to everything in seconds. I've been grinding all the season. It comes down to 10 seconds. I just talked to my wife and she's getting the girls dressed in all their hunting clothes so they can come help us find this deer. You know, these weapons are so lethal if you do it right and you tune it right and you have the right thing, you have the right components. You know, this is about a 50-pound bow at my draw length and about a 515 grain arrow, so not very heavy in today's standards, and a pretty big cut on contact 3-blade broadhead. But what I've learned through the years of shooting these bows is it's an arrow that's straight, that comes out of the bow into paradox and straightens as quickly as possible, that hits the animal straight and uses that kinetic energy to drive through. It's just a hot knife through butter, and it's extremely deadly. You guys see which one looks different?
Yeah.
See that? See, what do you look for? See how it's nice and bright red? Yep. That's a sign of a good shot. So when we're hunting, what do we want to do? We want to produce quick, clean kills, right? Mm-hmm. That's right.
Like cleanup.
Like cleanup, that's right. Okay, let's go look for her. You guys excited? Come here, let's go look and see if we can find any blood. Let's angle yours right, okay? You want it to angle at the ground. I want to raise my children in the light of my passion, to love and respect the world in which we inhabit, to fully understand the magnitude of the taking of a life to fuel another. As I reflect on this year, I'm overwhelmingly grateful for this life. Through the hardships of failure to the highs of success, I grew. As a husband, as a father, and as a bowhunter.